Shalom Mishpacha, it's Courtney, America's Jewish mother. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, so that means it's time for Friday Reads. So I actually finished 4 books this past week, but 3 of them, Gilead, Bluebird, and the Office of Historical Corrections, I have already talked about and wrapped up in my May reading wrap-up and rankings video, which I will link down below. So the one book that I have finished thus far within the month of June is Genderqueer by Maia Kobabe. This is a graphic memoir. This is about Maia Kobabe's journey and experience in discovering what was gender identity and sexual orientation. And I thought it was really well done. As someone who is cisgender, I didn't really necessarily understand the experience of coming to identify as non-binary, so this was very instructive on that front. And there was one part in here that I really kind of got a lot out of, so I wanted to share that with you. This is on 191. So Kobabe writes, "As I pondered a pronoun change, I began to think of gender less as a scale and more as a landscape. Some people are born in the mountains, while others are born by the sea. Some people are happy to live in the place they were born, while others must make a journey to reach the climate in which they can flourish and grow." So I thought that was a really interesting metaphor, this idea that maybe gender identity is not so much on a spectrum as much as it is like that some people feel comfortable living in the kind of environment that they first grew up in, whereas other people find that stifling or can't live with it and then have to go somewhere else. So I really liked that and felt like I got a lot out of that. So I would definitely recommend this, either if you are cisgender and want to learn more about the experience of non-binary people, or if you are trans or non-binary yourself and you might see some of your own experience represented in the author's journey. So yeah, this was a really great way to start off Pride Month for me. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I do feel like it ends kind of abruptly, and there are some things that I don't think Kobabe sort of skims over a couple of things in here, but that is of course your prerogative to do so. But otherwise, again, I really like this overall. I found it quite engaging and compelling, and I would definitely recommend it. So Pride Month reading off to a good start. 4 stars. So that is the only book that I finished thus far in the month of June. I am also currently reading The 30 Names of Night by Zeyn Joukhadar. I'm reading this on ebook, so I don't have it to hold up and show you. But this is doing double duty both as Pride Month reading, but also as my own personal, part of my own personal Arab American literature project, where every month I read one book written by an Arab American writer. So Zeyn Joukhadar is a trans Syrian American writer. And I'm about halfway through this book, and it has 2 alternating narrators. The first narrator, we don't know the name of the first narrator, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the narrator eventually comes out as trans and creates a new name for himself, and so the actual name is like scratched out in the chapter title. And it's interesting because even though this is in part about a trans person's experience, I did see some similarities between Maia Kobabe's journey to discovering a non-binary identity with the experience of the narrator in Zeyn Joukhadar's book, who eventually comes out as a trans man. So I thought that was interesting, that there were some similarities, even though those are 2 different gender identities. So anyway, so 30 Names of Night has 2 alternating narrators. So the first narrator is the non-named one, and the second narrator is someone named Layla Z, who was a painter and an observer of birds. There are a lot of birds in this book. So when the story opens, the first narrator's mother has died sometime not that long ago, and the narrator's really having a hard time moving on with their life, as you know, understandably so. And this has sort of derailed their graduate studies in art school at present, and they become really wrapped up in their mother's past. So their mother was an ornithologist who studied birds. And then the narrator finds these journals of Lacy, who I think is connected to the mother in some way, but that hasn't been revealed yet, but I think there's a connection there. And so then the even-numbered chapters are told from Lacy's perspective, writing in this journal. So yeah, I'm about halfway through right now. I don't love it, but it is interesting, and it is keeping my attention, and I'm curious to see where the story will end up going, so more on that next week, because I'm sure I'll finish that up by next week, along with Pirkei Avot, or Chapters of the Fathers, which I am literally just a few pages away from finishing. So yeah, and I've talked about this at more length already in my maybe Midrash wrap-up, which I will also link down below. I talked about this and Marilynne Robinson's novel Gilead, but this is a Jewish religious text that was compiled and written down sometime around the beginning of the third or fourth century of the Common Era. And it's very much in the structure of, you know, Rabbi Hillel said, if I am not for myself, then who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? And then Rabbi Tarfon said, you do not have to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it, and etc. So it's like ethical sayings, basically. So I'm very close to being done with this. And then the last book, oh wait, no, sorry, there are 2 more books I'm currently reading. I'm still also working on the essential writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson. That's going to be an ongoing thing for a while. And then the last book I'm currently reading is for the BookTube Prize, because I was in fact assigned a round in the semifinals of the BookTube Prize for nonfiction. I'm in nonfiction Group A. So I started reading Lacy Crawford's memoir, Notes on a Silencing, and this is about Crawford's experience of sexual assault and the aftermath of that assault at an elite boarding school in the early 1990s. And that's pretty much all I can say about it, because I am reading it for the BookTube Prize, so when I finish it I will record my thoughts about it in a vlog that will go up once the finals round is underway, which will be at the beginning of August. So that is everything that I either finished this week or I'm currently reading. Thank you for watching this. I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy. If you have thoughts about any of these books, I would love to hear that. Please feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I hope you're doing good reading whatever you're reading, and until next time, would it kill you to call your mother?